Hi everyone, this is Naz here on SG1 Radio. You must be wondering why is Naz live at 10:30 a.m. in the morning today? Well, the reason for this is quite special actually because there is so much going on in this world that sometimes we just need to sit back and think what it is that's going on and have someone to explain to us as well. And I think what better way to actually have very special guest joining us today on SG1 Radio. As you are aware, there's been a lot of things going on with the pandemic, the unrest as well, and recently being the new farm laws that have been implemented and passed in India. And there has been some peaceful protests going on about it. And we would like to know more about this farmers' protest that's going on in India, and most importantly as well, how it affects not just India but internationally as well. So joining me, I have a very special and very lovely activist from India, Nousheen Baba Khan. Nousheen, how are you doing?
I am great, Naz. How are you?
I'm very well, thanks, and thank you so much for joining. And we've also got Saeed Safdar Choudhary joining us.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Good morning to both of
Good
you.
morning. Very well, thanks. How are you? And we are waiting for one more guest to join us. Vincent. Vincent is running a little late and having a bit of issues logging in, so he should hopefully be with us soon. So what we'll do is we'll begin the show and wait for Vincent to come in. So, Noshin, you'll have a more better idea with obviously last year, I believe it was in September, we've had the new farm laws, three farm laws that have been implemented in India. What are these farm laws? Do you mind explaining that for our listeners?
Okay. First of all, good morning to both of you and the viewers watching us live, and everyone standing in solidarity with the farmers of our nation, my nation, India. First of all, Naz, it has not been implemented yet. As we have said, that it has been passed, definitely, but it has not been implemented yet. And the protest is actually to stop the implementation of these three farm laws. There are basic rights of a farmer that will be encroached by these three farm laws. I think like my other speakers who have joined me in this particular program, I would like to specifically mention the third law, since I am a woman. And how does this particular farm bill in total affect the lives of the women in India? Because there have been uproar by the women from the moment the CA has been passed. But the women of India did not stop there. They protested, they resisted these farm laws. So let me tell you very briefly what this third law is, and I hope that my other two speakers would cover the other two farm laws. Essential Commodities Act 2020. Now, with this particular law, the the limit, the storage limit of certain commodities has been uplifted. Earlier, there were a storage limit on pulses, cereals, potatoes, onions, oils, oil seeds. Now, my question is, do you not consider these essential commodities? How will this act affect the life of the housewives? You know, the one who spend their lives, who spend most of their times in kitchen. These women, they protest that if the the limit on these essential commodities will be lifted, then there would be black marketing of these commodities, because these are essential commodities. It has been in our law that these were treated as essential commodities, but with this particular law, there will these commodities will not be treated as essential. So people can store, the corporate houses specifically can store in their silos whatever amount of um, they like, whatever amount they like. Now when there would be a demand of these commodities, they would definitely stop or like put a halt on the supply of these particular commodities. And when the market rate would go high, then they are going to release these commodities on their fixed prices, the prices they wish to. So this is how a normal kitchen, a normal, be it from any class of the society, be it higher class, middle class, or lower class of the society, the kitchen would be affected very badly, and we won't be able to stop the black marketing of these essential commodities. So this is the reason why the women in particular, like me and like others, be it from any religion, be it from any sector, are protesting these farm laws. I would like to mention here, we have this saying that this particular law is not anti farmer, this is anti human, because there are other issues related to that, that it would give utmost power and authority to the corporate houses. And there are other things as well, that a normal farmer would not be able to file a case against the corporate houses who would be doing business with them. So there are many other such issues that have cropped up the moment these farm laws have been passed in the parliament. And I would like to mention this particular point here, that it is not after the the moment the bill has been passed, the uproar, the protest has been going on in different parts of India prior to the passing of this bill in the parliament. They were treating this particular bill, when it was a bill and not an act or a law, the bill was protested, resisted by the farmers. The farmers were doing door to door campaigning, and this is the reason why it has been termed as the largest protest of the world, because the farmers were already aware of what the bill constitutes. Any farmer can explain this bill to you at the back of their hand. They know it more than me, more than you, maybe. Not maybe, it is a fact, because they have been resisting this farm law, that they never wanted this to get passed in the parliament, but unfortunately it has been passed. And what we can see is the farmers on the road resisting this bill and demanding to repeal them. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nousheen. Very, very helpful insight there. And Vincent, thank you very much for joining us as well. How are you doing, Vincent?
Hi, Nazmin. How are you? I'm good.
I'm very well.
Hi there.
Hello.
Yeah.
Sadaf.
Hello. Anything,
Hi.
Vincent, you'd like to add about the farmers' protest that's been going on in India following Nousheen's comments? She was very beautifully explained,
I was
actually.
hearing to Nousheen. Yeah, I was hearing to Nousheen if she
Yeah.
have like explained everything in detail. But I'd like to say, I'd like to just add one thing, is that the ratio of the suicide, the farmer suicide, which are now at present, with the ratio is too high, that if this law by forcefully, that the government is already trying to implement this law forcefully, actually, if this law gets implemented, I think in near future the ratio of the suicides that farmers are doing will increase in a huge, quite number, because that is why the farmers sitting in the protest keep saying that this is not black bills, because they know in the future, they are at present they're not getting the MSP, right? And they are somehow surviving. The crops are not been they don't get the amount, they don't get the proper amount uh, they put into the fields or crops to
Mm.
harvest or produce the crops. So this is the only reason why farmers in India are doing suicide. But once these bills will be implemented, I think the ratio will increase way more higher. That is the reason we should all support farmers. And otherwise, Nousheen have explained it in every clause by clause. I can say that. I'd like to just quote a small poem I've just written.
Nice.
After Rihanna,
I would
after
like to.
Rihanna, posted
Yeah.
posted the posted a picture of farmers and said, "Why aren't we talking about this?" So I'd just like to recite this poem. Is that why aren't we talking about this? Millions of people die out of hunger. That is like all over the world. Millions of people die out of hunger, and the farmers are not in the field. We are talking about everything and every shit, but why aren't we talking about this? 2.5 months, 2.5 months sitting on the roads, sleeping in the trolleys, and that gross eat their food, milk, and cheese. But why aren't we talking about this? Couple of hundred died. Where's our tears? Couple of hundred died. Where's our tears? Bollywood is sleeping, and the whole world hears. Media calls them terrorists. Farmers still protest with peace. But why aren't we talking about this? Women and children, old and young. Women and children, old and young, vocal their voices made pen their gun. World is watching winter heat minus degrees. But why aren't we talking about this? Come on, rise up. Farmers are for all. We can't unsee it, so wake up your soul. No farmer, no food. Hey, Mr. and Miss. No farmer, no food. Hey, Mr. and Miss. And that's why we should be talking about this. Come on now, make your mood. No farmers, no food. Come on now, you did it good. No farmers, no food. Let the deaf hear it loud. No farmers, no food. That is why we are not talking about this, but it's a matter of food. So we should be talking about this. Sanekta Zindabad.
Very good.
Otherwise, everything detailed Notin have mentioned. So I don't think I should add anything because every single detail Notin have mentioned. As I told you, Nazmin, she is very good and she can explain in a better way. So this was the thing I just wrote and I was thinking to recite in a live session. Hello.
Oh, hello. Yeah, I think it went a bit quiet. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Very very well said, Vincent. It is really strange actually if you think about it because this obviously what's been going on in India. It hasn't been very much covered in mainstream channels. What we've been hearing is what we see on social media. And it's just getting the idea and understanding how it affects us. And Saeed, I think you'll be a really right person as our guest as well to explain how the farmers' bills and the policies affect us in the UK. Would you be able to elaborate on that, please, Saeed?
Yeah, thank you, Nazmin, making me the part of this show, and welcome our guests from India. I hope they have done excellent talk on this. Nazmin, Nousheen has explained us what these laws are and how close they are to the farmers and to the people of India. Not only in India, internationally, all over the world, every normal human being is feeling for this because it is not only the matter of someone's livelihood or their source of income or their the day-to-day living, but it is also a human rights. It is very much connected with, as Nousheen has explained, is very much related to your human rights violation and abuses happening there. So, as you know, you just said, mentioned, Nazmin, there's a media blackout of this in India. This is social media age. One thing, these people in the government and the Modi government, I don't know, failing to understand this time after time, and many issues they have created, made for themselves in India, that you can't bog down people in this age and time. I mean, if you are doing, you think you're clever, your mainstream media, your government media will just follow you. You have this time of age internet everywhere. International world is watching. They're seeing it on you see on Twitter, Facebook. You see through YouTube. You have a channels, private channels. People have this showing us what happened inside India and what has happened to the farmers. We're seeing it in, sitting in Europe, sitting in England, in America, Australia, all over the world. There's a massive support to these farmers, and I'm absolutely thrilled about the support they got. And this is because of the social media now. And you and me are sitting here talking right now. It is social media. This is the power we have. And thank you very much for doing this show for these farmers. Whatever we can contribute, because just imagine, Nazmin, if I am not allowed to do at my work what I want to do, And then you ask me, what is my progress? If I'm not allowed to do with my own house, my own land. Look, I come from a Punjab background and I have a land in Punjab. So my emotional attachment with the land is as such. Even living more than 15 years in UK, I still have that feeling, the attachment with my land. Even I am so far away and I'm doing totally a different job. So this is the kind of feelings which have been hurt by doing these inhumane laws and acts brought into. Thanks God, Supreme Court of India has put a bit hold on it, but it has passed the parliament. So as the UK's people, public, and the Europe and rest of the world, I'm closely watching. They are concerned. We have, as you know, that Southeast, our Asians are here in UK and in Canada and America. We have a diaspora, a Punjabi diaspora, farmers and other Asians. They have come, not only them, but after explaining to for example, our parliamentarian Tanmanjeet Singh Sudai has done excellent work in Parliament, and more than 100 British parliamentarians have wrote to Modi government, and also they have done a lot of talk and awareness in the British Parliament here. So, as you might aware, that Prime Minister of UK, he cancelled his visit on the, it was 26th of January, I believe, and he's supposed to go and participate in that India's the day they celebrate. So he cancelled that. So this is happening on international level now. What Modi government and the people who imposing these laws to understand is the world is watching very closely these acts, and we are effective. We directly and indirectly, everyone in UK has been affected with this because especially the Asians, British Asians, as well as the other people have that connection with the farmers of the India. They are feeling that act. So there will be a lot of protest in England, in UK. There was a protest outside the British Indian embassy on regular basis. Canadian in Canada, in front of Indian embassy, there was protest. In America, New York. I also was watching other day in Australia. The people are coming in the sport. So our friend just mentioned Rihanna's tweet, who has
Yes.
followed by the millions of people who came in sport. And you see the thing is, there is a, what I want to say is, it is a bit sad to say, there is a, there's still people in India who still trying to support the government. I ask them an open question. I say my children, my family, my kitchen, my life, my everyday 24-hour life. You know, I tell you something. Farming is a 24-hour job, okay? It's not 9 to 5 job. Your all household revolves around it. You are there. You basically, they live on the land. These farmers, he lives on his land. It is 24-hour in you trying to grab it and trying to tell them what they should do with their own with their own produce, what they produce, what you telling them what they do. It is like I tell you, Naz, what you should do from the time you wake up till you sleep. So
Yeah.
actually the strength of emotions attached to this was misunderstood by the government. And back to the point of the farmers' attachment to the land is, I remember back in Punjab when we had a situation where we had to sell a piece of our land, and my grandfather said, "You know, this is a mother. This is a motherland. This is you. We take the land as a mother. We call it ma to our land. So you are telling us how we treat the produce of a ma, a mother, to a farmer. So that was very wrongly read, to be honest, by the government. what is happening, and the reaction internationally. I'm quite satisfied what Britain parliamentarian and the but more need to do. Much more need to do. We need to come out in support of farmers, Indian farmers, so that tomorrow other farmers of the world are saved from these kind of people who are actually just thinking of cooperative thinking and business, big trade unions.
Thank you, Saeed. That's really helpful. Just looking at the time. So, what do you all think would be the best steps now? So, Nousheen, you'll be better to be explaining. What is currently happening now? Are the government trying to speak with the farmers to see if we can come to some sort of amicable resolution, and what do you think will be the next steps or ideal steps to resolve this?
Okay. See, first of all, I would like to point out that I am a proud Indian citizen because our constitution grants us the freedom of speech. That's why I'm here in your show. Peaceful protests and oppose the law when deemed necessary, when it encroaches with the fundamental rights of a citizen. But at the same time, the rights come along with certain duties. So it becomes my duty to protest. And as my previous speaker, Safdarji has focused on the mainstream media, how the mainstream media have been reacting, not actually reacting, but doing nothing is also a reaction. Not speaking about is also a reaction. So it becomes the duty of the citizen to do these kind of shows, to use social media as a platform to make the voices heard. Let's focus on the tweet that Rihanna mentioned. Why aren't we talking about this? She said it all because the mainstream media was silent on this. Fine. Now, as Nas has asked me, what do you think would be the possible, the future? These kind of I cannot predict the future right now, but where the whole scenario, I have been following this. I have been an active participant of this particular movement from Bengal, and keeping an eye on other aspects of this particular issue. Right now, this is, as far as I see, this is going to go a long way, because one of the farmer leaders have already announced that I give the government the time of 2nd October. So we are in the mid of Feb. So the farmer leader, one of the farmer leader, I would say, already has given 2nd October as the time limit. So we can see that this protest is going to go a long way. Now, there have been a number of rounds of talks. First, there were, certain ego problem from both the sides, because not the ego problem, because it became an ego issue, because the farmers' demands was to repeal the 3 laws, and the government wanted that, fine, we can do certain changes, and they were playing a little tactfully. In last to last of the meetings, very tactfully, the government of India said, we repeal the 3rd law, and there are 4 demands. We fulfill the 3rd and 4th demand, and we would leave aside the 1st and 2nd demand. So 50% demand has been fulfilled by the government of India. So they have played it very tactfully. The major demands lies with the repealing of these 3 farm laws and fixing an MSP, minimum support price. The government is not fixing the MSP. They are, talking about the quality. Like, tell me, there are so many issues that we need to talk about and highlight. This particular section is not enough to highlight the, the nooks and corners of these 3 laws. Now, where was I? So the government is playing tactfully, and the farmers have no way out than to sit there where they are sitting, because in any ways, if they go back home, they are not going to go back home. But there are certain limitations for a protest, But because they know that yahan pe kuan, wahan pe khai, there is no way out. We have to sit here and protest. If we go back home, leaving this protest, there is death in this side, and there is death death warrant on the other side of the border as well. So in both the ways, farmers know that if they go back, the laws will be implemented and the land would go away, their harvest would go away. And if they sit here and leave their harvest like that, so in any case, if the government does not repeal these three laws, in any case, the farmers will be facing crucial consequences, drastic and murderous consequences, I would say. So farmers have no way out but to protest with the hope that we are living in a democratic country, and we are. It is the largest democracy in the world. India is the largest democracy. So I hope, I pray that in future problems would be resolved and these three farm laws will be repealed, because this is the most important demand. The first demand is repealing these three farm laws. Now the government is asking what are the alternatives that you can show that you can give. The government is asking for the alternative, but the farmers know that there is no alternative apart from repealing these three laws. So we will have to wait and watch, because I cannot predict anything at this moment. But as a responsible citizen, if I consider myself as a responsible citizen, I have to protest, stand by the farmers in solidarity and in every demand with them. Like, we have to stand with them. That's it.
Thank you so much, Nousheen. Saeed, Vincent, do you both have anything else to say? We've only got very few minutes left of the show now.
Look, I had listened Nousheen very carefully now, and mashallah, she explained it so well. They have trapped the farmers in such a way, behind, on front, both sides they have a khai to, but hope should be there. Add one more thing into what Nousheen said. Remember, these farmers, they have brought the tractors and trolleys and things with them. If they don't go back home, how will they do crop for the next year? Where will they get the yield from? They have to be back. You have to look after your land. You have to produce something for your family, but they have no way out. They cannot go. If they leave this protest, if they go back home with a tractor and trolley and start plowing their fields, and they have to do, then the protest will be vanished and there will be no one hearing them. There should be look, the so-called parliamentarians, the lawmakers of India, they need to step up now and take this in their hand with responsibility and tell the farmers, look, you have things to do. You are sitting here already how many months, and they have to still and then you have a day and night they're sleeping in under the open sky. Look, hundreds and thousands of people, and they have left their family, their children, and look what situation the government has created this in a COVID-19. People are told to stay home in this COVID-19 evil disease, but they are forced. Imagine how much stakes are on the hold for the farmers there, that they're forced in the COVID-19 to come out and protest, and now they have nowhere to go. So absolutely, I can only say, God help them all, and they get some sanity prevails, and the Indians lawmakers and the parliamentarian, the government, think as a human being. Come on, this is going to be a human race crisis. Is going to turn it to be very soon, which already actually have, to be honest, because the whole world is now watching and intervening into it. I want UNO, United Nations, to come into it.
Thank you so much, Saeed. That was really helpful. Vincent,
Nazmi, I'd like to add something. It's more 1 minute. I'd just like to add something. As you know, these days Mahapanchayat is happening in Punjab and Haryana and UP, part of UP. So yesterday I was listening to one of the farmers leader, Balbir Singh Rajowa, and he said a very interesting thing, is that one of the very most senior minister from the ruling party BJP, he said them, implement or do whatever you want to do with the bills, the clauses, change everything, but keep the name. Don't say that we'll have to repeal it, because they said, we know we have made it wrong, but we can't take it back, because if we will take this back, we have taken so many We have made so many bad laws in this period of their ruling period of 5-6 years. So if we step back in this in this particular bill, we'll have to step back in all those bills too. Rajwal was saying, so he said, then why don't you take back if you have done, in Hindi he was saying, like, जब इतने पाप किए हैं तो एक ही साथ धो लो सारे पाप. So they know, the government, they know that they have made the bill made by them is not good at all for farmers, but they don't want to step back. So we have to pressurize them, standing together with farmers. It's not just like everybody said, the fight is not just for farmers, it's for us also, because at the end of the day, if it goes implemented, it's going to harm us as well, because we have to purchase food and everything in a higher price. The middle class and the poor people, they are going to suffer the most. And farmers, they are already dying there. As I told you earlier, it's going to rise, the ratio of the suicidal farmer is going to rise high. So we just need to, all we can do is, thank you so much, Nazmeen, for the show, because we should, we should take this matter seriously and make people raise our voice and let the people, as much more people we can, make people understand what the bills are and how it's going to affect us particularly and personally, so that every individual get indulge in the protest, and as soon as possible this protest gets end and the farmer wins.
Just one point, Naz, before you go, just one point. Vincent just said that one of the leader there was trying to say the government is taking it now as very personal and don't want to step back. A democratic government cannot play like this, that it is against me, between you and me, like you against me or me against you. A democratic government listen to their people and bring those laws in the parliament which has as much the feelings and the needs of the people of the country. So this shows what the mode of this government is since they came into power, what they are trying to do. Everything they do is they make against you as a people and against me as a government. It doesn't work like that in democratic country. Unfortunately, something is going wrong in Indian democracy there. Thank you.
No worries. I just hope things do get better. And I just want to say to all our lovely guests who joined us today, thank you so much for taking out the time to speak with us here on SG1 Radio and giving our listeners a more insight about the farmers' protest that's been going on. And I really do hope that things do work better and we see some positive news coming through in the upcoming months. Inshallah. So, as I said, we've got really, really small amount of time, so I'm going to have to end the show. But again, thank you so much, and wishing you all the very best with all the work that you're doing.
Thank you so much for having us on the
show. Thank you, Nousheen, for coming. Thank you, Vincent.
No problem at all. Thank you, and thank you to our listeners who tuned in as well. And I really hope you learned something from this, and fingers crossed we do see a better world coming there. Hang on there, guys. So take care.
You and me, we can together make it.
Yes. Indeed. So take care, everyone. Thank you so much. Bye.
Nazmeen, well done. Well done, Nazmeen.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.